The impact of artificial general intelligence (AGI) on global GDP growth. Introduction. The emergence of artificial general intelligence (AGI) is poised to revolutionize the global economy, potentially driving GDP growth from the current rate of approximately 3% to an extraordinary 20% annually. This projection comes from a report by The Economist which explores the transformative potential of AGI and its implications for economic output. The historical context of economic growth alongside the innovative GATE model developed by Epoch AI provides a framework for understanding how AGI could reshape our economic landscape. Historical context of economic growth. Since the beginning of industrialization around 1700, the global economy has experienced only modest growth. For centuries prior, economic output stagnated, averaging a meager 0.1% annual growth rate. The advent of machinery during the Industrial Revolution marked a pivotal shift, increasing growth rates to around 0.5% per year between 1700 and 1820. And later reaching approximately 2.8% in the 20th century. Despite these advancements, the growth rate has remained relatively contained, hovering around 3% annually in recent decades. The Economist report highlights that while machinery has historically contributed to increased output, the real game-changer is the rise of software brains. These advanced AI systems have the potential to automate a significant portion of tasks currently performed by human workers, thus breaking the long-standing growth ceiling. The paradigm shift with AGI. The Economist argues that once AGI systems can automate approximately 30% of tasks, a transformative feedback loop will emerge. At this juncture, the profits generated from increased productivity would be reinvested into further AI development, particularly in hardware and research. This reinvestment is crucial, as it enables a cycle of continuous improvement in AI capabilities. The GATE Growth and AI Transition Endogenous model serves as a conceptual framework for understanding this process. By integrating classic growth theories with machine learning scaling laws, the GATE model allows for simulations of economic growth trajectories under different scenarios of AI adoption and task automation. The GATE model, a closer look. Epoch AI's GATE model functions as a macro simulation tool that illustrates how increased computational power can lead to larger and more capable AI models. The model operates on several key assumptions. 1. Perfect substitution. It assumes that software can perfectly substitute for human labor, allowing for seamless automation without the diminishing returns typically associated with traditional capital investments. 2. Scalable resources. The model treats investments in energy and AI hardware such as chips and data centers as scalable, meaning that increased investment leads to proportionate gains in output. 3. Self-driving R&D. The GATE model allows AI systems to manage their own research and development processes, thereby accelerating knowledge production in tandem with economic output. The simulations begin with the current global growth rate of 3%. Initially, little change occurs until the 30% automation threshold is crossed. Beyond this point, the growth trajectory shifts dramatically, with projections indicating growth rates surpassing 20% annually. The feedback loop of growth. The feedback loop described in the GATE model can be simplified as follows. 1. Increased compute power. More computational resources enable the training of larger AI models. 2. Task automation. These larger models automate a greater number of tasks, effectively acting as digital workers that enhance productivity. 3. Reinvestment in AI. The additional output generated by these digital workers is partially reinvested into acquiring more computational power, leading to even smarter AI models. 4. Accelerated growth. This cycle continues to perpetuate itself, driving exponential growth rates. This dynamic relationship between compute power, automation, and growth represents a significant departure from traditional economic models where diminishing returns on capital investments often constrain growth potential. Implications for global markets. The potential for AGI to drive such dramatic increases in economic growth will have far-reaching implications for global markets. As productivity surges, markets for goods, services, and financial assets will undergo profound changes. Industries reliant on human labor may face disruptions, while sectors that can leverage AI technology may experience unprecedented growth. Moreover, the reinvestment of profits into AI development could lead to a surge in innovation, positioning nations and corporations at the forefront of technological advancement. This could exacerbate existing inequalities, as those who can harness the power of AGI may reap disproportionate benefits. Conclusion. The report from The Economist presents a compelling case for the transformative potential of AGI on global economic growth. By automating substantial portions of labor through advanced AI systems, the world stands on the brink of an economic revolution that could redefine growth paradigms. The GATE model illustrates the mechanics behind this potential, highlighting the interconnectedness of compute power, automation, and reinvestment in AI research. As we look to the future, the challenge will be to navigate the complex landscape of AGI-driven growth while ensuring that the benefits of this transformation are equitably distributed across society. The shift from a historical growth rate of 3% to a potential 20% underscores the critical importance of preparing for a future where AGI plays a central role in shaping the global economy. The content presents several counterintuitive insights regarding the potential impact of artificial general intelligence (AGI) on global economic growth, particularly emphasizing the transformative power of software in driving productivity beyond historical limitations. Here are the key counterintuitive points identified in the content. 1. Historical growth ceiling versus AGI potential. Historically, global economic growth has hovered around 3% per year, a rate that persisted even through significant technological advancements such as the Industrial Revolution. The notion that AGI could push growth to 20% annually challenges the long-standing belief that substantial increases in productivity are tied exclusively to physical capital and human labor. The idea that software can surpass the historical growth ceiling by automating tasks contradicts conventional economic wisdom. 2. Task automation threshold. The model suggests that only after 30% of tasks are automated does the growth rate begin to skyrocket. This implies a non-linear relationship between automation and economic output, where initial investments in AI do not yield immediate returns. The counterintuitive aspect is that significant economic transformation requires reaching a critical mass of automation. Contrary to the expectation that any degree of technological advancement would lead to proportional growth. 3. Perfect substitutability of software for human labor. The GATE model operates under the assumption that software can seamlessly replace human effort without diminishing returns, which contradicts traditional economic theories that suggest diminishing returns on capital investments. This assumption raises questions about the viability of such a model in real-world applications, as it overlooks potential complexities in labor dynamics and productivity. For self-acceleration of knowledge production, the model posits that AI can manage its own research and development, leading to a self-accelerating cycle of knowledge production. This idea challenges the traditional view that human insight and creativity are irreplaceable in scientific and technological advancement, suggesting instead that AI could autonomously drive innovation and growth. 5. Investment dynamics. The concept that profits from increased productivity would be reinvested into hardware and research to further boost growth introduces a cyclical perspective on economic development that contrasts with historical patterns of investment. Typically, investments have been driven by human decision-making in economic cycles, but the GATE model implies a more automated and potentially limitless reinvestment strategy driven by AI's capabilities. 6. Scalability of resources. The assumption that energy and chips are scalable with investment challenges the resource constraints traditionally viewed as limiting factors in economic growth. This perspective suggests that unlike physical capital, which often requires significant time and resources to scale, AI resources can be expanded rapidly, which could fundamentally alter how we understand economic expansion. 7. Impact on labor markets. The idea that digital workers could raise output significantly while simultaneously displacing human workers presents a paradox. While automation is often viewed as a threat to employment, the model suggests that it could ultimately lead to a more productive economy. This challenges the narrative that automation necessarily leads to job loss without considering the broader economic benefits of increased efficiency. 8. Feedback loop of growth. The feedback loop described, where increased computational power leads to smarter models that automate more tasks, which in turn drives further demand for computational resources, contradicts traditional economic models that do not fully account for such self-reinforcing dynamics. This suggests a transformative shift in how economic growth could be conceptualized, moving from linear models to more complex, interdependent systems. These counterintuitive insights highlight a radical rethinking of economic growth in the context of AGI, suggesting that the future dynamics of productivity, investment, and labor could unfold in ways that fundamentally differ from historical patterns and established economic theories. The report from The Economist presents a transformative outlook on the role of artificial general intelligence (AGI) in reshaping global economic growth potential. While the primary assertion that AGI could elevate global GDP growth from the historical average of 3% to an astonishing 20% is significant, several critical insights within the report are often overlooked, yet they carry substantial implications for understanding the future of economic dynamics, labor markets, and societal structures. Overlooked insights and their significance. 1. The 30% automation threshold. The report indicates that a pivotal transformation in growth rates occurs once AI automates approximately 30% of tasks. This threshold is significant because it represents a tipping point where the economic benefits of AI begin to manifest substantially. Many might interpret this as merely a numeric milestone, but it suggests a broader systemic shift. At this juncture, the cost-effectiveness of AI-enabled processes begins to outpace the traditional workforce, leading to potential disruption in employment patterns and economic structures. The emphasis here is not just on the increase in productivity but on the qualitative change in how labor is perceived and utilized in the economy. 2. Feedback loop of investment and output. The GATE model illustrates a feedback loop where increased computational power leads to the development of larger AI models, which in turn automates more tasks, ultimately driving higher output. This cyclical investment strategy is often underestimated. It suggests that the initial investment into AI and computational resources can generate exponential returns. This has profound implications for policymakers and businesses, as it indicates that early investments in AI infrastructure could yield outsized economic benefits. However, it also raises questions about equity and access. Who controls the investment and benefits from the automation? 3. Assumption of perfect substitutability for human labor. The report operates under the assumption that AI can perfectly substitute for human labor, which is a contentious point. This assumption simplifies the complexities of labor dynamics, including the nuances of human creativity, emotional intelligence, and social interaction that AI cannot replicate. The significance of this assumption lies in its potential to mislead stakeholders about the ease of transition to an AI-driven economy. While the economic model predicts high growth, it does not account for the societal and ethical implications of widespread job displacement and the need for reskilling workers. 4. Self-management of R&D by AI. The notion that AI can autonomously manage its own research and development is groundbreaking but often overlooked. This implies a future where AI systems not only enhance productivity but also innovate independently, potentially outpacing human ability to direct and control technological advancements. This raises ethical and governance questions about accountability and the direction of future innovations. If AI systems begin to make decisions regarding their development, who is responsible for the outcomes? This aspect necessitates a robust framework for AI governance that prioritizes ethical considerations alongside economic growth. 5. Scalability of energy and resources. The report posits that energy and chips are scalable with investment, which is crucial for sustaining the projected growth. This assumption might be dismissed as a technical detail, but it has far-reaching implications for sustainability and resource management. The environmental impact of scaling up AI infrastructures, particularly energy consumption and electronic waste, must be considered. Ignoring this could lead to significant ecological repercussions, undermining the very growth that AGI is expected to facilitate. Policymakers need to integrate sustainable practices into the expansion of AI technologies to mitigate potential harm to the environment. 6. Impacts on markets beyond labor. The potential for AGI to disrupt not only labor markets but also markets for goods and services is a crucial insight that might be overlooked. As productivity increases, the dynamics of supply and demand will shift, potentially leading to price deflation in various sectors. This shift could alter consumer behavior and expectations, leading to economic phenomena that have yet to be fully understood. The ripple effects on financial markets, consumer behavior, and economic policies will require adaptation from businesses and governments alike. 7. Societal and ethical considerations. The report hints at the monumental changes that AGI could bring to societal structures but does not delve deeply into the ethical considerations surrounding these changes. The potential for increased inequality, the digital divide, and the risk of creating a society where wealth and power are increasingly concentrated in the hands of those who control AI technologies is significant. The societal implications of such a shift warrant thoughtful discourse and preemptive policy measures to ensure that technological advancements do not exacerbate existing inequalities. Conclusion. The Economist report on AGI and its potential to revolutionize global GDP growth presents a compelling narrative about the future of economic development. However, the insights that are often overlooked, ranging from the critical 30% automation threshold to the ethical implications of AI-driven R&D, are equally, if not more, significant. Understanding these nuances is essential for stakeholders, including policymakers, business leaders, and the general public, to prepare for a future where AGI plays a central role in shaping economic landscapes and societal structures. As we stand on the brink of this potential transformation, it is imperative to engage in comprehensive discussions about the implications of AGI, ensuring that the benefits are equitably shared and that ethical considerations guide the development and deployment of these powerful technologies. The report from The Economist presents a compelling argument regarding the transformative potential of artificial general intelligence (AGI) on global economic growth. Here are the 4 most valuable points for in-depth analysis and discussion. 1. The shift from labor to software-based productivity. Historically, economic growth has been closely tied to physical labor and machinery, with global GDP growth averaging around 3% per year even during significant technological advancements like the Industrial Revolution. The argument that software brains, not extra bodies, can drive this change is pivotal. This shift emphasizes that the next phase of productivity enhancement lies in the capabilities of AI systems to automate and optimize tasks traditionally performed by humans. The report suggests that once AI can automate 30% of tasks, it creates a tipping point that allows for exponential growth. This point warrants a deeper discussion on the implications of relying on AI for productivity, including the potential displacement of human workers and the necessity for reskilling. 2. The gate model and economic feedback loops. The introduction of the gate growth and AI transition endogenous model offers a structured way to understand how investments in AI and computational power can perpetuate economic growth. The model combines classic growth theory with machine learning principles, presenting a feedback loop where increased computational power leads to smarter AI models, which in turn automate more tasks and generate higher outputs. This feedback mechanism is crucial for understanding the sustainability of growth rates beyond the traditional limits. An analysis of the assumptions underlying this model, such as the scalability of energy and chips and the potential for AI to manage its own R&D, can illuminate the feasibility of achieving these growth projections. 3. The role of investment in AI infrastructure. The report highlights the need for reinvesting profits back into AI infrastructure such as chips and data centers to sustain growth. This point raises questions about the economic and political frameworks necessary to facilitate such investments. A discussion on the nature of capital allocation in a future dominated by AI could lead to insights about the balance between public and private investment, the role of regulation, and the potential for monopolistic practices in the tech industry. It also invites a conversation about how countries might compete for leadership in AI development and what that means for global economic dynamics. 4. Potential economic disruption and societal impact. The prospect of AGI driving GDP growth to 20% poses not only economic questions but also significant societal challenges. The automation of a substantial portion of tasks could lead to widespread job displacement, necessitating a re-evaluation of social safety nets and workforce development strategies. This point invites analysis of the ethical implications of AGI, the potential for increased inequality, and the ways in which societies might adapt to these changes. Additionally, the report hints at the transformation of markets for goods, services, and labor, suggesting a fundamental restructuring of economic relations that could have profound effects on social cohesion and individual livelihoods. Conclusion. The potential of AGI to revolutionize economic growth presents both exciting opportunities and significant challenges. As we analyze these 4 key points, it becomes clear that a multifaceted approach is necessary to navigate the impending changes. Engaging with the implications of software-driven productivity, the sustainability of the gate model's assumptions, the dynamics of investment in AI, and the societal impacts of automation will be critical for stakeholders across all sectors as they prepare for the economic landscape of the future. 1. The Industrial Revolution, 18th to 19th century. The Industrial Revolution marked a significant turning point in history, transitioning economies from agrarian-based systems to industrialized ones. Beginning in the late 1700s in Great Britain, it brought about the mechanization of textile production, the steam engine, and innovations in transportation. This era saw a gradual but remarkable increase in productivity and output. Initially, growth rates were modest, around 0.5% annually, but as machines began to take over more tasks, output increased significantly. By the end of the 19th century, growth had reached nearly 2% annually, illustrating how the introduction of machines could lead to unprecedented economic expansion. The revolution exemplifies how technological advancements can shift economic paradigms, similar to the potential impact of AGI today. 2. The advent of electricity and mass production, late 19th to 20th century. The introduction of electricity and the development of mass production techniques in the late 19th and early 20th centuries were pivotal in enhancing economic productivity. The assembly line, popularized by Henry Ford in the automobile industry, allowed for the rapid production of goods, significantly lowering costs and increasing efficiency. This period saw GDP growth rates increase substantially as production became more scalable and efficient. The ability to electrify factories and homes not only transformed industries but also initiated a consumer culture that spurred further economic expansion. The synergy between electricity and manufacturing can be seen as a precursor to the transformative potential of AGI, which promises to automate and optimize tasks across various sectors. 3. The Digital Revolution, late 20th century. The digital revolution, beginning in the late 20th century with the rise of computers and the Internet, fundamentally changed the way businesses operate and how information is processed and shared. The introduction of personal computers, software applications, and later the Internet enabled a new level of productivity and connectivity. The proliferation of digital technologies led to significant economic growth through the creation of entirely new industries, such as information technology and e-commerce. By automating processes and enabling instant communication, this revolution increased overall efficiency and contributed to a rise in global GDP. Just as the digital revolution provided a foundation for modern economies, AGI has the potential to catalyze a new wave of growth by automating complex tasks and enhancing decision-making processes across industries. These historical cases illustrate how transformative technologies have historically led to significant shifts in economic growth patterns, much like the anticipated impact of AGI on future GDP growth as outlined in contemporary economic theories. The future outlook for global economic growth, particularly in relation to the rise of artificial general intelligence (AGI), suggests a seismic shift in productivity and output. As reported by The Economist, AGI could potentially propel global GDP growth from the current average of around 3% to an astonishing 20% annually. This transformative potential hinges on the automation of approximately 30% of tasks by AI, marking a tipping point where the economic landscape fundamentally changes. Historically, global economic growth has been stagnant, with the Industrial Revolution slightly increasing growth rates. However, the introduction of AI and AGI represents a paradigm shift, primarily because of the efficiency gains from software rather than traditional machinery. Unlike past innovations that required physical labor, AGI can replicate cognitive tasks at scale, which is critical for driving productivity. The Gate Growth and AI Transition Endogenous model developed by Epoch AI illustrates this potential. This model integrates traditional economic growth theories with machine learning scaling laws, positing that as AI automates more tasks, the feedback loop of investment in computational power and advanced models accelerates. Specifically, as AI systems take over tasks, efficiency increases, leading to higher outputs and profits, which can then be reinvested into further technological advancements. Once the automation threshold of 30% is reached, the Gate model predicts a rapid acceleration in growth, surpassing the historical ceiling of 3% and potentially reaching 20% annually. This is largely because the scalability of software and compute power means that diminishing returns, common with physical capital investments, are less of a concern. The ease of replicating software labor through additional computational resources means that productivity can continue to rise without the limitations faced by traditional industries. In practical terms, this could lead to a significant restructuring of the global economy. Markets for goods, services, and labor may be fundamentally transformed, with digital workers becoming increasingly integral to productivity. As AI systems take on roles traditionally held by humans, the nature of work itself will change, necessitating a re-evaluation of labor markets, skills training, and social safety nets. Moreover, the assumption that AI can handle its own research and development further accelerates this cycle. As AI systems become capable of improving their own algorithms and processes, the rate of innovation could surpass anything seen in human-driven research, creating a self-reinforcing loop of growth and technological advancement. However, this optimistic outlook is contingent on several factors. The successful integration of AI into the economy will require significant investment in infrastructure, including data centers and energy sources. Furthermore, there are critical considerations regarding ethical implications, regulatory frameworks, and potential socioeconomic disparities that could arise as certain sectors benefit disproportionately from automation. In conclusion, the future of economic growth in the age of AGI presents both unprecedented opportunities and challenges. If the predictions hold true, we could witness a transformation in global productivity, leading to a new economic paradigm characterized by exponential growth rates. As we approach this pivotal moment, it will be crucial to navigate the associated risks and ensure that the benefits of such advancements are broadly shared across society.